Hi, this is Sarah Mikesell with the Poultry site, and today we're here with Jeff Simmons. He is the board chair of Hatch for Hunger and the CEO of Elanco. Thanks for being with us today,
It's
Jeff.
great being here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Very good. And we're in Atlanta at IPPE, and as part of the larger meeting really going on here, you guys talked to a large group of people today about Hatch for Hunger. So let's talk about Hatch for Hunger and what does it mean for food insecure families?
Yeah, so maybe just first Hatch. I mean, I think all your listeners and all the people at this convention, we're all connected around animal protein, meat, milk, eggs, the power of that. We know what that does for families. We know the difference between as I said today, the starting in the morning in a kitchen with a 2-egg breakfast for a child versus maybe a Pop-Tart or that sugar bar that they have in the backpack on the bus. So Hatch for about a decade is a nonprofit that takes, maybe lower valued eggs that we buy and we get some donated from producers. So think about that medium egg that maybe is not demanded. We buy that. Producers can sustain some value from that. We turn to now 48 food banks that feed hundreds and thousands of pantries. And those banks are actually saying, hey, I need sustained supply. I can't have eggs that come 1 month, not the other.
Right.
So we create sustained supply, and we give it to them at a discounted price. So all this is being a nonprofit is we're just taking shared value all along. Everybody's getting value, and we turn it into, in that cooler, in that church basement, in the pantry, every week that mother or that father can grab that dozen eggs and start to develop eating habits for that young child to say, hey, better eating habits, better diet, better cognitive skills. So that's what we're doing. What's it mean? It does mean changed eating habits. It does mean a better morning, better grades, better cognitive skills, better health. I mean, today we just said, believe it or not, America has gone back 5 years in life expectancy. Why? Because people aren't eating more protein. And there's an obesity problem. There's a lot of things. So this is just an opportunity. And it's really allowing people to see what all of you do as producers. Great work, stewards of animals and land, turning into an amazing food product everybody needs. That's all Hatch does.
Very good. And you can share a few of the statistics because they're amazing. But then I want you to talk a little bit about you've done this and been so successful with eggs. How do we move this into other protein sources?
Yeah, so, I think some of the statistics are when it is sustained shared value, and I always say it always starts with a producer needs to make profit over time. They have to. So I'm not a big believer in, hey, give me donations, we'll buy a little food, and we hope it works. That's very hard to sustain. So producer profitability, I grew up on a farm, on a dairy farm and a grape farm, and my brother and dad, they still say profitability is sustainability. So we start there. I think that's really important is we want our producers to be sustainable. So I'm excited to say we're one of the larger buyers of medium eggs here in 2022. So the statistics are this, and the shortness since 2015 is we've got 51 million meals. Meals, 2 eggs.
That's incredible.
So 31 million of the 51 happened in 2022 last year. In the midst of bird flu, in the midst of everything, as I said, says that's a statistic to say the heart of producers is they will step up even when there's a shortage of eggs and when eggs are at high prices and high profits. And we heard producers today say, we do it because it's the right thing to do. So 31 million meals, 48 food banks, that's going to grow substantially. We believe we can go from 31 to 300 million meals by 2027. We have a 5-year plan. And part of that leads to your question, which is we're going to add other proteins. So we're looking at chicken, beef, pork, and milk and saying, hey, you know what we have now? We've got thousands of food pantries, 50 or so food banks. We have the system set up. Now let's follow the model and let's put chicken drumsticks or, a different maybe piece of protein and meat that is not as of value, but man, to somebody that doesn't ever get it, a frozen set of chicken drumsticks changes the evening like eggs change the morning. That's where we're going, and we're going to pilot some of those going into 2023.
Because really you've built the infrastructure for the program,
That's correct, and in a sustainable way. So we'll turn and say producer profitability, producers, if you want to donate some, we'll take those, but we'll assure you they're going to the right place, having the impact. We'll measure that impact, and we continue to go. And I think the other thing we're going to turn up in 2023, in addition to additional proteins, is advocacy. All of you out there, I know, and I've spent 33 years in animal protein, is there's a misunderstanding with farmers and ranchers and producers that, they're not in this for the good. They are the best stewards of the land, the animal, and the food insecure. And so as a nonprofit, we are going to shout the story and be the advocates to say, look at this. Look at the American farmers and the international farmers that are feeding people and what they do for the animal and the land. So advocacy will go up as well. So, and I just say to everybody, thank you for what you do. These are hard times out there globally, from war, recession, pandemics, African swine fever, bird flu, COVID, and it just shows the greatest character and integrity of someone is in a time of adversity. And I've never been more proud to serve farmers and veterinarians and ranchers than 2022.
Very good. I have one final question for you that I'm just throwing at you, but do you see a global opportunity for a program like this?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think this model is not that complicated. Right. It's staying at it, staying in it, getting some partners that want to do this. And it takes the right leadership over time, like the Hatch staff and some great producers. But it's very possible, and I would call out to anyone, to visit our website, call our leadership team. Yeah. We're very much willing to share, and this can be replicated in another country. And I say, start small. We did. Yeah. Initially, it was one producer and one or two food banks, and it all began, and it's worked.
That's incredible, Jeff. When I see the statistics, I'm just literally blown away by how much you guys have accomplished. It's been great to see.
Well, the mirror goes on the producers. I really think that's what it takes, and so it's exciting. And there's an exciting decade ahead. I see what lies ahead is more food security. I see animal health and animal protein starts to impact human health. And then watch out, here's the next one in this decade, environmental health. We're going to see farmers, starting with chicken and layers and egg, but all the way to cattle, we're going to see climate neutral farming to say, hey, everybody, the world wants animal protein, and we can do it in a way that's good for the environment too. Right. All of that's going to happen, between now and 2030. So buckle up. Here we go.
It's coming. It's coming. Very good. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
This is Sarah Mikesell with the Poultry Site.